If you constantly feel that I'm not doing enough, I should be more productive, then this session is going to be a breakthrough. So one of the biggest manifestation blocks that most entrepreneurs have is that they're constantly telling themselves, I'm not doing enough. They're so hard on themselves. They're constantly blaming them. And it's like there is this inner, the most critical voice, the most mean voice, which is telling them all the reasons why they cannot have what they want because of the fact that they are not doing enough. And this is huge because of this inner voice or this statement you are getting in your own way. You are delaying your manifestation because what you're creating is, I'm not doing enough. So at the end of the day, you're programming yourself to not do enough. And what I'm about to share with you will change this for you forever. So manifestation is 95% of your identity, your mindset, which is a result of your identity, how you think, how you feel, and only 5% action. But we are told that the more you do, the more you'll achieve. The more work you do, the more you'll hustle, the more you achieve, which is an absolute lie. Therefore, what a lot of people who experience quantum leap realize that actually they start to do a lot less and their results exponentially grow and they wonder like what is going on, how things change. But in order to really nail this, we want to understand two energies. And when you find that unique point for you, it is very subjective for every single human. So the point for me is very different from you, and the way your fingerprints are unique, the way it is a unique point where both your energies are maximum, and at their intersection of maximum is your point where you are a match for quantum leap, where you have energetically matched the point, the frequency of quantum leap. And both the energies are being who you are, how you see yourself, what is your identity, how you feel about you, how you associate, what's your perception of you, and doing the actions you take. While most of the world is busy doing and trying and working harder and increasing their hours, what we realize is that being is the least utilized energy in the planet, and it's the feminine. It has nothing to do with male or female. It's just receiving. You receive because of who you are. Okay. And this energy comes from shifting your identity. Now, because this being energy is the least utilized, what a lot of people do is they work harder. So because they don't feel that confident in themselves, they don't feel they're worthy to receive, they don't feel that money can come to them easily. In order to make up for the deficit in the being, they start working really, really, really hard. But hard work has its limitations because you only manifest who you are, what you think about yourself, how you see yourself. So no matter how hard you work, you create more of the same. So being energy is like the GPS in the car. If you are putting the address in the GPS, which is wrong, no matter how long you drive, even if you drive 16 hours, hoping that you will get any closer, you won't, because the address in the GPS is wrong. So the first thing that you really want to do is you want to focus on being. And focusing on being means who is that version of you who has already got what you desire? How would that version of you live their life? How would they show up? What kind of things they will do? How would they think? How would they think about money? How would they think about their life? How would they think about quantum leaps? How would they think about their relationship with money? How easy and worthy it is for them to receive. They have to really start to shift the way they see themselves. They really have to change their perception about themselves. They really have to start creating the ideas and feelings and thinking from that place instead of trying to fix something. When you are in the trying to fix energy, you are constantly fixing something broken, and breaking something creates more of the same. So it's not really going to help you. What you really want to start doing is you want to start coming from the place, coming as that person. And I really want to break it down for you. When I say coming from that place, let's assume that you have a multi-million-dollar business, right? When you come from the energy of 83K months, which actually adds up to a $1 million business, 1 million a year, 83K months, you ask yourself, what does that level of version of me thinks? What do they actually think about money? What do they think about my clients? What kind of clients do I receive? How does my business look like? How do I show up for my business? What are my processes? How do I feel about my confidence? How do I associate with myself? How do I see my ability to deliver the results? How do I see my perception of clients about me? What is my marketing like? So at that frequency, you have got all the answers. But when you start asking yourself those questions, you will also become aware of the blocks. You might have this thing, oh, I won't be able to handle it. Or what if I disappoint people? Or what if there are not enough people on this planet to become my clients? Or what if people really don't need what I want? Or what if people don't really need what I'm offering, right? You will start to uncover your blocks, and you will start to uncover the reasons why you are not receiving what you're asking. It's you that is getting in the way. When you get on that frequency and start to think from that place, realize where you're not thinking from that place. Then you ask yourself, how does that version of me feel about money, about paying the bills? If I'm sitting in this restaurant and paying for my food bill and I'm swiping my card, how would that version of me who attract 83K every month would feel? Would they really feel that pit in their stomach while paying the bill? Or would they be like, oh yes, there's a lot of money, right? So it doesn't mean you start spending a lot of money. What it feels is the feeling around money, the feeling when you're interacting with money, the feeling when you're receiving money. That version of you would be getting a lot of Stripe payments or maybe a lot of payments in their bank account. How would they feel when they're checking their bank account? You start to really assess the difference in the feeling, and you also start to then see, what kind of actions am I taking? Am I acting in alignment? So do I sell my products or service confidently, or do I think, what's the point? Do I feel shameful for selling, or do I feel that there's a huge demand? I receive 83K. So there's a huge demand. People love what I've got to offer. People are coming to me in huge quantities. Money's coming to me all the time. So you start to normalize thinking, that feeling, and that acting from that place, and find the gaps as to where you're not a match right now. Right? When you start to do that, you really start to tap into your being and your doing from that place. And that happens when you start to really shift your identity. Because as you shift your identity of who you're being, your belief system changes, your feeling changes, your thinking changes, your action changes. So am I being a successful entrepreneur? Am I being an entrepreneur who is confident about their capabilities, who is confident about their ability to serve people, who has very happy clients who give them incredible testimonials, who's proud to sell their service or product because they know that actually people are benefiting by saying yes to them. It's actually helping people. They're not just taking other people's money, they're giving them more increase. So let's take the example of somebody who sells washing machine, right? If that person feels shameful and thinks, I'm not worthy to sell this washing machine, who would lose more? We would lose more because we'll have to wash our clothes with our hands, right? So actually, we rather pay that money and get a washing machine because that will make our life 100 times easier. We rather pay that money and get a dishwasher. We rather pay that money and get the car because that makes our lives 100 times easier. So do you really believe in your product and your service? Or do you believe you're just taking other people's money? Because if you're that belief, then your subconscious will make sure that you don't do all of that. You don't do which is not right. So if you are like, but I don't feel that yet about myself and my service or my product, then the question is it because you don't feel you're worthy? Or is it because if you can add something to your product or service, it will make it such a good deal? So if adding something will make it, then do that. But if you're like, no matter how good my product or service is, I never feel that, then there is a being issue there, right? So until your being is strong, you will keep on hustling. You'll keep on working harder. You'll keep on trying to make up for the gap here. Okay. But when your being is strong, you will take the path of least resistance. So the magic point where the being and the doing really intersect at the highest point is when your identity is solid and you're coming from the solid belief system, solid perception of yourself, and solid of how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and who you're being. And being also involves action, but it is 5% of the equation because you will act in alignment anyway if you believed. So if you believed that your product or your service is the greatest thing since the slice of bread, is the greatest thing that humanity need, would you not sell it? Would you not sell it confidently? So instead of trying to take another sales course, try to go within and see, how am I seeing myself? How am I associating with myself? And when you have an intact identity, a solid identity, which is a match, you start to take the path of least resistance. Everything work out. So this is what I tell my clients. Whenever you are realizing that you're working really hard, you're getting exhausted, or it's not working, instead of trying to look for the answers outside, go within and see where you are getting in your own way. Because what you want is already here. The only reason you are struggling to receive, or it's taking exhaustion or struggle, or the feeling of I'm not doing enough, is a symptom of something deeper in your being, in your feminine receiving energy, which is the least utilized energy on the planet.